Seems like a lot of lighting, a lot of white.
No, it looks all right. It looks good. Put on a white shirt. It'll change.
Coming from the dude with the 700K fucking webcam.
It's more the lighting that comes with it. Look, if we want to get you this camera, we can. All right.
I'm sitting here looking like a fucking Minecraft sprite.
We should just start the episode like this. Screw it. Welcome to episode 15 of MMArcade. It is Rob and Jonny. Rob, what's going on, man?
I'm good, mate. In case you guys want to know what we're laughing about, I was asking if the lighting was all right. And he goes, yeah, it's fine. Because he's got like a $700,000 camera and I've got this pixelated Minecraft sprite imager bloody thing.
Oh, my God.
We're here now. Episode 15. Look at us go, mate. Did you think it would get this far?
You know what? I had faith.
I'm hoping the answer is yes.
I absolutely had faith. It was a bit rocky when
the answer is yes.
It took us like 4 months to get it all together. That was the scary bit. But once we got started, we were rolling, man.
Yeah, we're rolling. We're consistent. And, you know, I think the viewers and our listeners, our loyal listeners are appreciating that. You can see in the comments every week, they're like, can't wait for the next one.
Absolutely.
Great episode, itching for the next one. So thank you very much, guys. Please do. If you do enjoy the episode and the podcast and the content, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and do all the buttons and the likes and the thumbs and the things.
100%. And we've got a pretty stacked podcast this week, Rob. We're slightly changing our approach a little bit to how we talk about the MMA stuff, but pretty consistent with what we've been doing the last 2 episodes anyways. But what do we got in store this week?
More or less. It's more or less what we've been doing consistently.
Yeah.
But I just want some laser focus on what is definitely going to be a part of the episodes moving forward. And then everything else is gravy. And what we're going to really be lasering in on is fight analysis of the previous weeks. So the main events for the fight analysis for the previous week's UFC, as well as the predictions and breakdowns for the fights moving forward, for the fight weekend coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Main event. And if it interests us, co-main, or if you guys are interested, mention it in the comments below and I'll make an extra effort on fights you guys want to hear. Now, I'm not going to go list every guy that just puts their mate in the description. I'm not going to go on and then jump to a local Facebook web page and break down their mate's fights. But if a couple of yous jump in on the same guy and want to hear a breakdown or prediction or analysis of a fight from the previous week, only the previous week, and or the week coming, mention it in the comments below and I will get to it. We will get to it. But that leads us into UFC Fight Night main event, Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier. What a fight. What a fight.
Can I start by saying you were right. You were dead on with your prediction last week.
I will take that. I will take my prediction being dead on because I thought it would go this way. I didn't see Cannonier coming out the way he did though.
No.
Okay.
No.
So let's break down this fight. Fight starts, Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier. Straight away, Cannonier starts pushing a pace. Okay. Knowing what we know now, knowing that Marvin starts to slow down. Cannonier doesn't miss a beat and really starts landing shots throughout the entire fight. Okay, knowing this, in hindsight, it makes sense. Cannonier pushing that pace, all part of a master strategy, which I agree with. It is in hindsight. But let's not forget, while Marvin was fresh, Cannonier was pushing the pace, standing in that range, that hit range, that mid range, that that's that range where people get knocked out, and he wasn't. And Marvin was answering. Marvin was taking shots or just missing shots and answering him, landing clean hooks, clean overhead hands, clean 1, 2, 3s, like making him pay for coming in.
Yeah.
Cannonier almost gets finished.
I remember
due to that. In the first round. Now, you can make a point, an argument that every time Cannonier was getting hurt and getting hit and getting like punched a lot was when he switched stances.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of the commentators also mentioned on it, and I think every UFC fan and their mate next to him pointed it out as well. Because I know all you guys at home are absolute weapons at this game. But switching stance is hard. It's hard. Cannonier does it. Okay, he does it a lot. I can do it to a degree. I think most people can do it to a degree. Offensively, switching stance is all well and good. Defensively, switching stance is super, super hard. And we saw that hole in Cannonier's game when he was pushing the pace. Now, you see, I'm going to make a reference to Adesanya. Adesanya switches stance with the best of them. He's almost as good in one style in Orthodox as he is in Southpaw. I think a big part of that, though, is due to the way he fights holistically, which is he fights at distance, he uses his range, his general defensive strategies, the lean back, slide away. Yeah. He does that in both style stances, which is okay. Okay, it's a much safer approach. Cannonier, when he switches stance, generally is fighting from a little bit more of a distance. We've seen him do that in other fights. He's been a little bit further out so that when he does switch stance, he doesn't get caught as much. Now, his new game plan, going in there, pushing the pace whilst still switching stances was dangerous. And he almost got slept because of it. Yeah.
Very, very risky in that first round. And honestly, dude, it could have been a completely different fight. Obviously, if Vettori got the knockout, but he could have done a little bit more damage than he did, and that could have completely changed the pace for the rest of the fight. Luckily, for Cannonier's sake, he realized that he shouldn't be switching stance like that, at least as often. He still did it in the latter rounds a little bit.
Slow down. He did start to slow down. But I got to say, though, I don't know if it was... I think a big part of the fact he wasn't getting hit as much in Southpaw was just to the fact that his game plan started working. He started winning the attrition battle, winning the cardio battle, slowing Vettori down. And once Vettori started slowing down, Vettori wasn't landing as any more effective strikes, wasn't able to keep Jared out of range and out of punching distance. And Jared literally had his way with him. He broke records with I don't know what, close to 300 significant strikes, 270 something. Like, that is insane. That is in one fight, one dude.
He broke that record, most significant strikes in middleweight history, in the 4th round. And not only that, the first round of that fight, I would say he actually lost. He almost got dropped. It's just the second round, dude. What clicked? It was I remember it specifically, and it wasn't even like he almost wobbled Vettori. It was this one strike where he kind of grazed Vittori's chin, and it wasn't, as I said, that damaging, but it's like he got a burst of confidence from that, and he's like, all right, I got this, dude. Buzz, just kept going relentlessly. I was watching with my wife, and she was like, holy crap, this is a beatdown.
Yeah, man. And because it's one of those things, because of the pace he was pushing and because Vettori was hurt and getting tired.
Yeah.
Okay, the worst combination. Because when he's hurt, he's just surviving and he doesn't really have any control over trying to recuperate, trying to do anything offensively to keep him off him. And Jared was just having a field day, free reign on the distance, the punching, setting up shots, setting up strikes. We'll say Jared's boxing looked good. His angle movements, he was moving left, he was moving right, he was slipping, he was rolling, he was boxing quite well, really well. So hats off to him for that, and hats off to him for having the confidence in the game plan. Because if you guys, I'm going to assume you haven't. If you haven't tried doing that in a fight, it's hard to have confidence because whilst Vettori was tired, and you could see he's tired, I guarantee you Jared was not more tired, he was just as tired. But that's part of that game, is the headspace, knowing you just got to have confidence in the game plan that, okay, I'm tired, but he's more tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired, but he's more tired. So it's like that constant fighting yourself as well. But yeah, he smashed the next closest record for significant strikes.
Yeah.
People, a couple of, who was it? Someone come up to me and says, don't you want that record? Don't you want that? I was like, mate, that is such a hard record to get. Like,
especially
I don't
now.
know. Is it? Yeah, like, is it a good thing that the guy couldn't go down in 300 good shots, or you know what I mean, or is it? I don't know.
If anything, Rob, you make a good point. It's a credit to Vettori. The dude was able to stand there for that many significant strikes. That dude just he kept shots. Taking it. And I don't think anyone has ever figured out how to take that dude down. Like, the commentators were joking, like, yeah, maybe a bat will do it. But holy crap, credit to him. If there was anyone else in there, I genuinely think they would have been dropped in the second, if not, third or fourth.
I was getting brain damage watching. like, yeah. I was getting rocked from my chair.
Yeah. Dude, Vettori was getting more damage from the calf kicks he was taking than the shots to his chin and to his head. I couldn't believe what I was watching sometimes.
It was just such a testament to his toughness.
Yeah.
He dead set put everything he had into Constitution.
For sure.
Nothing anywhere else. That guy has a head made of granite.
Insane.
And I knew this personally. But seeing it like that, like, mate, like, he took some killer shots. I'm sure he was out on his feet at one point, but absolute zero quit in him. So props to him for going out on his shield like that. And Jared Cannonier, what a fight. Where does this lead him, you reckon, Jonny?
Bro, this is tough because I'm going to have to predict
what a tricky situation.
So, obviously, your fight against Stricus. You know what? No, this is easy. Has Cannonier versed Stricus before or not?
No.
Well, there you go. If you beat Stricus, and that's my bet, then he fights Stricus. Easy. Right?
Yeah,
surely.
That's an easy way to do it.
Yeah.
I know. The middleweight spot's funny at the moment.
It is.
It's funny. But I'm putting all my efforts into smashing Stricus, and it's going to be a tough fight. I know this. It's going to be a tough fight, but we'll worry about the future. Nothing matters past Stricus. Worry about it.
Yeah. 100%.
But that is Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier.
Dude, what a fight, man.
What a fight.
What a main event to end that card, man, honestly.
Oh, dude, it was stellar. It was a stellar watch. Really, really, really enjoyed it.
I think for me, the big question for Cannonier is whether, because you even said this last week, and I think everybody kind of thought somewhat similar, that it was going to be a low kind of output fight. Like, they weren't going to go all out crazy, and then Cannonier obviously comes out and does that. Is he going to be able to take that same energy into future fights? Like, what was different for him in this fight against Vettori? Where were all these significant strikes in all his previous fights?
Yeah, and also when does that punch Vettori landed in the first in the fight? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that first round, as good as the fight ended, that first round was a gamble.
Yeah.
And I don't like gambling in this game.
Yeah.
It's it's not a good game to gamble in.
No. And I wanted to ask you specifically about that. Like, we all joked about how, when he was swapping stances to Southpaw, he was taking more damage and he was defensively weak, right? Why was he doing that? Why do you think? Like, did he talk about that? Like, I know he likes to swap stances, but was it to get that inside calf kick a little easier? What do you think was his rationale for doing that and taking such a risk, especially in the first?
It's off-putting. It's off-putting fighting people in an opposite stance. You see, I'm sure Marvin's had a lot more experience sparring and training with orthodox fighters rather than southpaw fighters.
Yeah.
So we see that a lot. We see offensively, like Volk and Adesanya and a lot of other guys do it as well. Max Holloway was doing it that other fight. Yeah. They switch stance. They attack a little while, then switch back because it is off-putting. That little bit of, it's like an extra step your brain has to work out before it like defends a punch or slips back or before you throw a punch. It's just one more step, one more thing to throw into the think tank. So I think there's a place for it. I think it's sketchy doing it in close confines.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially like against Vettori.
Round one when everyone's pepped up on good intentions and everything else, you know.
And Vettori's left is scary. Like he has a lot of power in it.
He does. He hits as hard as anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you think he goes? What about Vettori, man?
Mate, Vettori, where does he go? We'd have to look at the rankings. Oh,
has he fought Strickland yet? Tough one. Oh,
man.
I want to pull up his record right now because
he fought that Delidze fella.
He did fight Delidze last time. That was the win that gave him this fight essentially.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. The middleweight division is kind of funny. I guess everyone has to wait till I fight Drickus, and then they have to wait to find out what's happening.
Just sort it out, Rob, please.
So, mate, I'm gonna
sort out the division.
Get in there and I'm gonna get in there July 8th and do my best, mate. So, moving on, UFC Fight Night. Josh Emmett versus Ilia Topuria.
I'm looking forward to this one, man. Ilia Topuria has been dominating everyone left, right, and center. This is going to be. I expect him to come out exactly like he has in the previous fights. But let's break this one down. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Can we say how good Josh Emmett's run up until last fight looked?
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like Ilia Topuria and Josh Emmett are very similar in approach, in styles. They're happy to take wins wherever they arise. They're always looking for the finish, and they're always going in there with bad intentions. Punches are heavy. You know, they got heavy punches. Topuria is obviously more well-rounded on the ground. Yeah. Emmett is a more straightforward wrestling approach. Both dudes throw violence with their hands. I think this is just going to be a barn burner. And I've got to say, Josh Emmett looks so good up until last fight. Even in the prep, because I was there in Perth watching him, the open workouts, watching his approach and everything. He looked amazing. And Yair just destroyed him. So, but that's not saying that he was that much better than. That's not saying that Josh Emmett was off that night. I think Josh Emmett was just really good. Yair just took it to another level. Yeah, which means that fight between him and Max is going to be very, very interesting. But Josh, I think, is just in a really good form right now. Up until that last fight, he was in really good form. It's honestly, I look at this fight. And I almost see like a passing of the baton sort of thing. What's it? Passing of the torch? Yeah. Is that the same? Yeah. I think it might be that sort of situation. I love Josh Emmett and I love the way he fights. Yep. I love the intentions and intent he goes into each fight. So headstrong and so mission-based, objective-based. He's got to get in there, bite down and get in there and turn it into a dogfight. Yeah. But I just think Topuria is going to do that too. Yeah. And he's the young dude coming up. And Josh is, I think, like the older guy moving on.
So we've talked about this exact topic in previous weeks where you've got a division, like many of the divisions, where there's this closed group of guys at the top and there's someone up and coming, very exciting. Everyone expects that person to break the formula. And they reach that fight and they lose. I believe the fight, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, it was Fiziev against Gaethje. And everyone was like, Fiziev is going to come in and break that division, and Gaethje beat him. I think it was that fight. Could that happen this time with Emmett and Topuria? I'm not expecting it because Topuria is a freak. But look, anything can happen, right?
Yeah, but I think where the difference between man, now you've mucked me up. Fiziev?
It's Fiziev?
Fiziev? Oh, man, I had it. I was saying it right then, and now you've put me off.
So is it Fiziev? Is it actually? I feel like I don't know.
No idea. But
call him Raphael. Call him Rafa. Rafa.
I think this fight is almost even more of a passing of the torch because look up Josh Emmett's age. I'm pretty sure he's 40. Like,
is he actually?
And
38.
38. Yeah. And you know that's starting to get into your harder years. You know, like you're relying less on physical attributes, like to physically outdo your opponents, and kind of falling on your experience in the fight game much more. I feel like that's why I think 32, 34, like your physical attributes and your mental attributes, so like your experience and wisdom and intentions, all kind of align in this sweet spot for a year or two.
Yeah.
And then they start to fall apart again because your physical attributes stop going up.
Yeah.
But your wisdom does. And that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps those older fighters in the game for such a long time. I think Cannonier is one of those guys as well.
39.
And I just feel like once you hit like the 37, 38, 39, 40, once you start hitting those years, the clock's ticking. Obviously, the clock's always ticking.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I feel like you're playing it fight by fight. You know, one fight is going to be the last one.
Yeah.
Like am I making sense?
No,
yeah,
for sure.
The next fight might be the last. That might be where your wick just is done.
Yeah. Where
your chin's over, where the intent and the heart and the fire peters out when your brain says, you know what, dude, I've had enough.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
Especially if Topuria does what he's done in previous fights, you know, against Emmett. Like, it could just be one of those losses where you know you're done. So, yeah, I'm definitely going for Topuria in this one. I think he's undefeated in the UFC, undefeated in general. He's rising up the ranks. I am very interested to see, assuming he does win, him go up against either Volk or Yair, depending upon the result of their fight.
Yeah, you see, I think it's too early for Topuria to be fighting Volk or Yair.
Well, I thought so too. But they're talking about that the winner of this fight.
I understand, but I think they're gonna give it to him undercooked. But maybe not. Maybe not. You know, I do feel like this fight is a passing of the torch. I'd love to see Josh Emmett get in there and just go violent mode and just, you know, do what Josh Emmett does.
Sure.
But like I said, both guys fight styles quite similar. Like quite similar. I think one guy has a number of years on the other. I think that's going to be the deciding factor, as well as because of the roll-on effect, the morale, confidence that comes from 13 straight wins, right?
For sure.
And Josh Emmett coming off that loss, and it wasn't a pretty loss against Yair. So, yeah, I guess I have Ilia Topuria in this fight as well, but what actually happens, who knows? You know, if he loses, it might be the best thing for him and his career, just because I do think if he wins this fight, him going up against either Yair or Volk or Max.
I was going to say, I forgot like how Max figures into it, because let's say hypothetically, and I don't think this is going to happen, mind you, but let's say Yair does beat Volk. I mean, Holloway should get the shot then because he beat Yair, right?
Yeah. But if he doesn't, then Ilia Topuria
should get it because he hasn't
Max
fought.
Fight.
Yeah. Wait, you think Holloway and Topuria should fight next?
I think Topuria has to get through Max before getting a title shot, just like anybody else does.
Yeah, okay. So I agree.
One way or another. That, you know what I mean?
If we were kind of going meritocracy, right? But if you're in Dana's position, you've got this guy rising up in the ranks. Do you really want him going against Holloway and potentially him losing, and then he loses all his momentum? Like, is that the fight to make from his perspective?
Yeah, it's hard to say, because I just think if Topuria goes up against Volk and Yair after their fight, I think he's undercooked. I do. Like, there is a significant level gap between Yair, Volk, and Max than everybody else. and you can't really get you see it every time Max fights someone who isn't Max Holloway.
But that's why I think Dana won't make the fight, genuinely, bro, because he doesn't want to see Topuria have to go against someone like Max.
I think that'll be to Topuria's detriment.
Okay.
In the long run.
Yeah,
I do think if Topuria gets that, look at Yair, look at how he has evolved from those hard fights.
Yeah.
Now, he looked so good last fight against Josh Emmett.
Yeah.
So good. A new Yair. The level jump was massive. So, yeah, I don't know. They're our predictions, though, and that's our breakdown for UFC Fight Night, Josh Emmett and Ilia Topuria. There's so much we could just sit here and brainstorm and think bubble and try to connect all the dots on the charts on who fights who with the UFC rankings.
I love that shit, man. I honestly love it. By the way, we were going to give a bit of a shout out to Justin Taffer. He's fighting Austin Lane as well at UFC Fight Night.
A countryman.
And just because he is Aussie like us, we've got to give him the tip as well.
Definitely. He looked amazing against Parker Porter last fight.
Yeah.
He just really reminded me of Mark Hunt, to be honest. I just got some real big Mark Hunt vibes, and so confident. He looks so dangerous, so calm. I look forward to seeing him do it all again on the weekend.
Hell yeah. Well, that is our MMA UFC segment, and we're now swapping to the game news. It's been a very interesting week. Nothing crazy until, I don't know if you ended up watching it, Rob, but this morning Nintendo had one of their fully fledged proper directs, and they announced a bunch of stuff, like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the new 2D Mario has been revealed. Super Mario Brothers RPG is being remade. I don't know if you ever played that on the 64. Yeah, bro.
That was like a niche sort of.
I know.
You either liked it or you didn't sort of thing.
I'm so happy that it's being remade.
I look at you and I think I say to myself, that looks like a Super Mario RPG fan.
Come on, look. The reason is because 64 was my jam. That was the console that I grew up with more than any others.
That was your one?
That was my one. It was the 64.
Okay, quickly.
Go on.
What were your two favorite games?
Oh, easy, Ocarina of Time. That's a given. Mm-hmm. But in terms of what I spent the most time on the 64, it's probably like Perfect Dark. Did you ever play Perfect Dark on the 64?
I didn't.
Think of GoldenEye, but then they just took it to another level with Perfect Dark. Mm-hmm. It had awesome multiplayer. You could play 4-player against your friends, against bots. I put so many stupid amounts of hours into that game. I don't want to think about how many hours I put into Perfect Dark. Did you play the 64?
I did. And this just goes to show how different our tastes are. And it's just, I played the hell out of Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Hell yeah.
And especially the multiplayer version, where the bears, the D-Day sort of scenario where the squirrels are trying to get in.
Yep.
The bears holding the fort.
Yeah.
That was intense. That was so much fun. And there were bots everywhere and you would play with a friend. It was crazy. But that and Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap was the best, bro. That was the best.
It was so good. There's nothing like you throw an apple in a bush through one tiny gap and then you see a rare, I don't know, Mew pop out of nowhere. And then
that was such a good game.
It was weird. I don't know why I liked it as much as I did, but that were the games I spent most.
By the way, I got confused. RPG was Super Nintendo, not Nintendo 64. I was thinking of Paper Mario, which ended up coming, which was kind of similar to RPG. So that's my bad. That's my memory failing me.
Easy to mix up. There's 400 Mario games.
Dude, there's too many Mario games. And they were literally the generation after each other. But regardless, I am excited for the remake of Super Mario RPG. I really think you'd like it, Rob. It goes back to the kind of turn-based style of Final Fantasy games used to be.
I remember seeing a lot about it. I'm much more of a serious cat. I don't really play light-hearted games too often.
It's really good, though. In terms of... a Super Mario
I can't even
game.
get into Zelda.
I know that, but that's because the weapons break. That's different. This is different.
And it feels kiddie, the whole thing.
Okay, all right. Then and if anything, the remake feels a little bit more kiddie than the original did. Just because of the art style,
and because I'm 27 years old.
To be fair, I'm still going to play it. I have a lot of good memories of Super Mario RPG.
You got it.
Yeah,
you got to taste it.
And then there was a few other things that they announced as well. Detective Pikachu 2's coming onto the Switch. They have where is it? Luigi's Mansion Dark Room Remaster. There's a Princess Peach game. They really brought it. This Nintendo Direct. Some people saying it depends what kind of fan you are, what kind of game you are, but it kind of competed with Xbox's showcase. I wouldn't say that because they didn't have 45 minutes of Starfield, but very good Nintendo Direct.
Can I say Nintendo Direct don't need to compete with anyone?
No, they don't.
At any time.
Correct.
They are Nintendo and they have Nintendo like this and they give nothing out and they don't third party anything. If you're like, you want Mario, you come to me.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they have to do because they've got such iconic games that they're in a league of their own. There's like PlayStation, Xbox.
Yeah.
And then all the way in
Nintendo.
like a different category is Nintendo, and it's like they don't play the same games. Like they're not the same sport.
There are so many Nintendo Switches that have been sold, and I was reading an article, and they were saying that this is probably they might actually be releasing a new console, if not next year, the week after, because the Nintendo Switch has been out for a while. I remember when I first got it, but that was like years and years ago. It was like 7 or 8 years ago. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
This could be somewhat of a swan song for the Nintendo Switch. All of these awesome games coming to it. So don't know that yet. Like I still think that this console has
in terms of the next generation.
Possibly. I genuinely I don't think they're going to be moving away from the Switch that quickly. Like there's so many Switches out there.
Switch Plus or a Switch Mega.
Just do a Switch Pro. Like that's what we all want. We just keep the Switch and come out with better hardware. It's a great concept. Yeah. No one wants to give up the Switch.
It.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Switch is great.
Yeah. Even if I this is what I would take, Rob. If they released a dock for the Switch that gave it more power, so at least on the TV you could play it with more power, and then on the go you can play it like a regular Switch. Because I actually think on the go it looks pretty good, and you don't notice as many of the frame rate drops as you might do on a TV, because it goes to 1080p on a TV.
Right. If Switch keep moving into the field of indie games as they have been, they could keep using the old Switch for the next 20 years and I'd be happy.
Dude.
I love indie games, dude.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do.
And the Switch is made for them.
Yeah.
I love pixel art. I love it. And, mate, it comes alive on the Switch.
Yeah. What they need to do for sure, whatever new system that they have, they need to allow people to transfer their libraries over. Because, as you said, how many indie games has everyone picked up on the Switch? Because they're always on sale. They're always in the top 10 selling list, especially for the digital ones. Like, that's what they need to do. Bare minimum. Give us whatever new cool concept you want to. I think there are two things. That, and it still has to be handheld. It still needs to be able to be taken on the go.
But you know what the problem with having so much power is? They don't have to do shit.
Yeah.
They don't have to do anything. They never have. That's the whole thing. They're like, oh, here's a new Switch. Yeah, none of the other thousands of games you bought, they don't work on them.
So evil. It's funny when you say that, because the CEO of Nintendo, his name is literally Bowser. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
It is. His last name is Bowser. So
fitting.
It is very fitting. But that was the Nintendo Direct. Lots of cool announcements. Very excited for Super Mario. Didn't even talk about Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That thing looks awesome. Love the art style. It's kind of like a pastel-y, dreamy looking. It has a lot of character, and I'm excited for that too. So that was the Nintendo
I love how
Direct.
Nintendo games are really doubling down on that, like the Nintendo art style.
Yeah.
It's good to see. Really
but you know why as well, bro?
Colors.
Because it allows their games to age gracefully. Like if you think about a lot of the games, PS2 era, PS1 era, you have a different memory of them, but you go back and actually play them, they don't look that good in a lot of instances. But you go back and play a Zelda game like Wind Waker, which has that cartoony art style. It looks awesome still today. And that's exactly what Wonder is going to look like in 10 years, you know?
It's why Zelda Breath of the Wild looks so good.
Yeah.
Compared to like the CGI effects of Final Fantasy 16.
Correct.
You know, why are they even in the same ballpark?
Yeah.
Why are they in the same conversation? But they can be because of that.
100%. And then, I mean, that was pretty much all the major games. There are a few others that were announced, but the next topic that we have is talking about Xbox getting a price increase, not just for the console, the Series X, but also Game Pass. So we saw PlayStation do this recently with the PlayStation 5, got a bit of a price increase. Xbox is now doing the same with the Series X, is going, at least for Australia, but most other countries as well, $749 AUD to $799, another $50 in line with the PS5. Plus as well, Game Pass is increasing from like $15.95 to $18.95 per month. Same as well per month there, and then on console as well. So what do you think about the price increases, Rob? It's probably just to match inflation and all that kind of stuff, but understandably, some people are a little upset that they're going to have to be paying more for Game Pass.
I don't understand why the console itself is becoming more expensive.
Fair.
You say inflation, but what is inflation? What is it? The price of plastic becoming more expensive, or are the wages you pay the people to melt the plastic into it more expensive?
I agree.
No. You should be playing around with that. That's a cheap cash grab, I feel, anyway.
I mean, no.
But in terms of Game Pass, I think the Game Pass is well worth the extra. What is it? The extra $5?
It depends on your territory, but extra few dollars here and there. So Game Pass Ultimate is $15.95 to $18.95, and just the regular base Game Pass is actually only $10.95 to $11.95. So that's $1 in our region.
Yeah. So I think it's well worth it. It's like Netflix.
Yeah.
And how much you get out of Netflix, and how much you and all your mates get out of Netflix. You know, it's there's a couple things. If you're a very specific gamer like I, where you only play 5 games at a time and that like ever, and that's it. Like, but you play those 5 games. Probably not for you, but if you're like my 4 kids in there, and they each they've each got their own sort of category and genre that they like playing. They can just download games. It's like having a Video Easy throwback in your living room.
Out. Video Easy, bro. Oh, those are the days.
Yeah, man. To all our subscribers that have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, back in the ye old days, you used to have this place you could walk into and hire video games from. Like you asked to
think
hire
of Blockbuster.
this, they give it to you.
Same thing, yeah.
They'll let you take it away for 7 days and then come back and return it. It's like that, but even better. And let's be honest, the games on Game Pass are stellar.
They're good.
Like, they're not crappy games. They're good, man. Sometimes they're blockbusters, like brand new ones.
Yeah. Starfield is on Game Pass from day one, as an example.
Yeah. So I don't hate the price for the Xbox Gold. Don't love the increase for the console itself.
I'm a very similar line of thought of, like, I honestly think for Game Pass, their idea is to increase Game Pass to eventually be like $30 a month, and that's still good value. Genuinely, if they still have the number of games and the quality and the echelon of games that they do now, $25, $26, $20, like, they're going to keep increasing it until it's that kind of level, because you're also seeing Netflix and all these other places do it. So long as they're staying in line and not increasing it too fast, I think that's their end goal, and they're going to make a bunch of money. In terms of the console, I mean, then it's interesting that you said that, Rob, because they're not actually increasing the cost of the base console. That is staying the same, the Xbox Series S. And even though they said it's partly inflation, also as well, the cost of them making those consoles, they go down over the time because they get more efficient. They're sourcing, the parts are cheaper at that stage. It costs them less and less and less to make those consoles as the years go on. So it is hard to kind of reconcile sometimes when they increase the price of their console. Yeah. But anyways, Xbox Series X and Game Pass increasing in price. The next thing that we're going to be talking about, we're kind of segueing into what we're watching, playing, and reading, but we need to talk about Final Fantasy 16. Rob,
we do, because it is hot off the skillet, and I have been smashing it. You have released a review.
I have
recently.
I did, yeah. I reviewed it on my channel. If you want to watch it, feel free to go check it out. I played about 20 hours of it. I'm about halfway into the game because I got the code. I don't think I can say when I got the code, but I got halfway into the game. And you know me, Rob, like I haven't played that many Final Fantasy games. I haven't played since Crisis Core on the PSP. That's a throwback for you. This game is phenomenal, like breathtaking. And I had my reservations because initially, and you know this, Rob, because you would have played the demos portion of it. I thought it was more movie than video game. And I'm like, what's going on here? I barely touched my controller. My wife was next to me saying the same thing. Like it's not even a game. But when it clicked for me, it clicked like really, really hard. Like I started to care about the characters. I was really appreciating the cinematics, the uniqueness of the lore and the history of all the nations that are going to war against each other. And then the combat is actually fun as well. I love all the abilities. I like your super moves, and you keep spamming them, especially as you get more as you complete the game.
It's so funny that your previous Final Fantasy game was Crisis Core because they're similar-ish. Like,
yeah, you're right.
In terms of the combat, but you're exactly spot on with.
Thank you.
with everything you said. Like the cinematics are amazing, outstanding. And you're right in the fact that you're watching the cinema. It feels like you're watching a movie. There's cinema graphics. Okay, the cutscenes of a Final Fantasy game, like all other cutscenes of a Final Fantasy game, stellar. Yeah, absolutely breathtaking. Yeah. So, but the background and I guess the overarching feel of the game just made me think of Final Fantasy Tactics, my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time, because it is so involved in politics and skullduggery and betrayal and treason and very serious elements, which Final Fantasy haven't really delved into for a while now. Yeah. So to see them go back to that and to really double down on just the mature audience of what's going on. You see, like the main character, Clive, you see his whole world get torn down in front of him. Yep. Like, and it's not like your stereotypical dude's lost his castle to the invading nation sort of thing. There's so much betrayal and intense fight scenes, and the cinematography that takes you through it makes you feel for the characters that is happening to. Yeah. And I actually watched your review. Oh, and I remember you bringing up a point, which I thought was one of the heaviest moments I've seen in a game in the longest time, and that's when good old Josh, is on the losing end of the stick for a little while there, and that scene is still in my head. Yeah. Like I can't get it out. And that's the effect the story and the characters and the game had on me. And that isn't even that far into the game. I'm not giving away any spoilers.
He's not. No. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It leaves lasting impacts. And that's just the story and cinema portion of it. Then there's the combat. And the combat is so cool and fluid. It's almost Devil May Cry-ish. Yeah. It's very fast-paced. You have icons and you have abilities which you can hotkey and hotbar in, and you're just flashing around all over the place. I couldn't do it, but I saw the developer I saw the developer going through boss fights, perfect parrying everything, like not taking a single point of damage.
Seriously?
And, dude.
I felt lucky to get parries, like when I accidentally and happened to land a strike at the same time, and I was like, "That was awesome." There's no way people are doing that intentionally. That's insane.
And it is such a cool game, and then the fact that you can become these demons and big ass bosses, like, because what's different from this one, because I know you haven't played a lot of the other Final Fantasies, is that you don't control your stereotypical Final Fantasy party. You don't have your 3 to 5 dudes. You just got yourself, your lonesome and your wolf.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but he's kind of useless.
He is kind of useless. That's I will say, if we're talking like,
he's cool.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said, and I've said this in my review. Toggle's kind of useless.
Toggle's cool, kind of useless, but cool. You know, and the fact you can give him commands is really cool as well. And you do get companions that jump into the fights and stuff, but you're Clive. You're going to go around, focus on your attacks, comboing them up, flashing around the place. And then, you know, you become these big cinema titans and go punch on. That was one of the cooler things in the combat for me anyway.
Yeah. And it only gets better, bro. Like, it only gets better as you keep playing. There are, and obviously no spoilers, there are other moments where you get to be those giant icons and they're like titanic, colossal boss fights. They feel like boss fights. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, they still have like the mini boss fights where you're fighting harder enemies, but those boss fights, bro, are just like, they're capping off those individual chapters in the right way. It feels so good. The combat is, and some people were saying, oh, it's just like a hack and slash. It's not just a hack and slash. As you said with the parrying, like, you need to be intentional with what you're doing. It's how you approach enemies, what abilities that you're swapping between, which ones you've chosen in the first place, when you're using potions. Like, there's a lot of thinking that goes behind it, and especially the enemy variety in there. They will do vastly different moves, you know, from enemy to enemy. You've got to think about the combat. You're not just pressing one button until the enemy goes down, you know?
And that's what got me, because, like, obviously I'm not a big fan of Devil May Cry. So I don't just go in, like, hack and slash games, period. So I was very wary going into this, but it's not. It's how the skill tree is really cool. So you can really spec towards one style of fighting. And I was just hitting that one rotation, and then unlocking further points allowed that one rotation to get stronger. And I started really leaning into a certain style of play, which was like hyper aggressive, heavy attacks. Not super flashy and around the place, just heavy hitting. And I just really enjoyed it. It's like, would have to be like Game of Thrones, but for Final Fantasy. Because
that's good. Yeah, I like that.
You know what I mean? Like, that was one of my favorite parts about Final Fantasy Tactics, was the political nature of it.
Yeah.
The moving pieces, the Machiavellianism of all the political roles of everyone's trying to, I don't know, it's just cool. I really like that, and to see that into a fantasy thing. And obviously it's a new world. You don't have to play any other fantasy, like all the other Final Fantasy games. They've always been standalones. So it's been taking up a lot of my time, mate.
Yeah.
A lot of my time.
I genuinely do appreciate that that's the way that they do those big numbered Final Fantasy games. If you play the previous ones, you'll be able to notice like certain things and certain common elements. Like, there's always a character that's named Sid. There's chocobos and stuff like that. But going in... There's always
Ifrit.
There's always Ifrit,
Shiva.
right? There's always... Oh, okay, no. I won't say what there always is, because that's a bit of a spoiler. But even if you haven't played those previous games, and that includes myself, there's still a lot there to enjoy, and it walks you through it. There's so many features in terms of the lore of the game that Square Enix is like, we're going to try and walk you through this and handhold you, because there's a lot going on. But at any time, if you want to pause the game, you can pull up active time lore and just like read upon some of the stuff that we're mentioning, some of the characters that we're mentioning in this cutscene, or like the nations or the city that you're in, and stuff like that. There's multiple places in your hideaway that you can go and read up on the lore even more. They do a really good job acclimatizing new players so they don't get overwhelmed, because I was overwhelmed initially, but then when you get into it and when you read a lot of that stuff, it's so good, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, it is a great way to get back into the Final Fantasy series,
for sure.
And it was a lot of fun. I'm going to give it 9 bananas.
9 bananas out of 10 bananas. And talking about review scores, it is 9 out of 10, I think. on average. So another legitimate Game of the Year contender. This year, Rob, is a really good year for games. What the hell?
Mate, stellar year. And we're only halfway through it. I can't wait. And I know there's a lot of big titles launching in the back end of this year, so I cannot wait. What a good time to have an MMA and gaming podcast.
100%.
Good time.
So that is not only the Final Fantasy news, but also what we're playing. I haven't been playing anything else bar Final Fantasy 16. But Rob, let's go on to that next section. Are you watching anything or reading anything at the moment?
Mate, no, not really. A couple of my books come out, I think, the first week of July, which is upsetting, but I've got to find a new one. I have been watching, there's only one anime I've been watching, and that's, where is it? It's like the Love Yama something.
Yeah. I think you mentioned that one in the previous week.
Yeah. My love story. They're up to episode 12 now. It's like this season. It's nothing to write home about, but it's got some moments where they make you feel good moments. So
nice.
Not bad. Otherwise, not much. Yourself?
So finished Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer had its last episode. It was like a 50-minute episode. Pretty good. I reckon this season wasn't as good as the previous one, but we've got some exciting ones coming up.
Never is.
No, it never is. But like the previous one, Entertainment District Dark, was so good. It was so pretty. Like they nailed the animation in that one. But you know what's funny, Rob? And I haven't watched it yet. I want to watch it this weekend. Black Clover's movie just shadow dropped on Netflix. I was hoping to go see it in the cinema, but I never got any notifications. I never saw any ads for it. It's just like it's on Netflix. So I'm going to be watching that this weekend, and we'll be talking about that.
What about
too.
Full Metal?
Bro, I haven't had the time. Don't get me wrong. I haven't dropped it. It's just I was playing Final Fantasy and trying to get the review done. So
Full Metal Alchemist.
I know.
Both of those.
I've got to. I'm watching Black Clover movie because I'm really excited for that, and then I'll go back to Full Metal. I promise.
You know what? I couldn't get into Black Clover because the main character, the guy with the black hair, he's so whiny. He won't he just screams and whinges the whole time.
So you know what's funny? I thought the same about him in the first 3 episodes, and I hated his voice. I was like, wow.
Does it get better?
Yes, it does.
All right.
Whether it's because I'm becoming acclimatized to it or I'm becoming more familiar with his voice, but I feel like they tone it down a bit too.
Does he slowly start to like? I do love the animes where there's like a slow personality development where
100%.
By the end of it, they're not the same person as when they start.
Yeah, definitely happens with this guy. I think Asta is his name. I think his character progression is really good.
I might pick it up and have a look.
Do it, dude. Because I'll let you know how the movie goes because I'm hoping I've heard good things about it.
So I found that like that's what Full Metal Alchemist did really well. Was Edward was really annoying at the beginning, like almost rambunctious and whatnot. But then slowly, because he starts to see some shit, and he develops into like a bit of a mature, slowly starting to become mature teenager adult.
I tell you what, now that you pointed it out, they're the same character. Edward and Asta, they're very similar. They start off as kind of similar characters. They're loud, they're a bit obnoxious, but then they have a certain charm about that as they progress, throughout the anime. So that's a good shout. I think you'll like Black Clover if you keep watching it.
I might pick it up.
So that is what we're watching, playing, and reading. We are up to the last segment where we answer your questions. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments. We try to answer as many of them as we can in each podcast. But Rob, question number 1 from Gabby Doll 360. How do you guys manage with the fights being so late? Like some main events are at midnight. Does your sleeping schedule throughout camp prepare you for that?
I'm assuming this is for me to fight.
Yeah, I've never fought a day of my life.
At midnight. I guess like it's hard. It is hard. And there have been fights when I've been going up at midnight. It's Abu Dhabi was a 3 a.m. start time for myself.
What?
And I was the main event. So there were boys that were like prelims at 1 o'clock.
Jeez.
I think I had a 4 o'clock start time. So there were boys that didn't sleep that night. So they changed their whole sleeping pattern to just stay through. And because they were on the bus to the arena at like midnight.
Wow.
And I got away with like setting my alarm for like 2 a.m. to get up, eat something, hydrate. Because obviously I can't wake up at 4, fight at 5.
Yeah, you'd be groggy.
You know,
Still waking up.
And it was hard to try and climatize to that because I was trying to go to bed at 6 p.m. every night.
Yeah.
So that I could wake up around 1, 2 o'clock.
Right.
And I think my fight was at 6 a.m. local time.
Is that just a weird feeling though? Like, whenever I have to wake up early, I just always feel like, no one's really up. This is kind of weird. Is that a weird feeling heading into a fight arena and having to fight at that time? Super weird. Yeah.
Super weird because the way I normally work is like you're up for hours before the fight. You're up, you eat, you stretch, you stay awake, like you let the food digest. Whereas this one was a little strange, it was a little different. So it was weird waking up, ordering a coffee at like 2 a.m. in the morning. It is quiet, but the hotel's kind of lively because there are buses and carriages moving in and out of the lobby because obviously boys at different times of the night have to go out and fight. So it was very different. Another obstacle was the fact that in Abu Dhabi, in Fight Island, the hotels are situated in the middle of a racetrack because of how hot it is.
Are you serious?
The cars can only race when it's nighttime, when the sun goes down. The tarmac's too hot. So, like, as soon as I'm trying to go to sleep at 6 a.m., the cars start going around. And it's just hard going to... You ever tried falling asleep at 6 p.m.? It's hard, dude.
Oh,
so hard.
For sure. I did that recently for the Starfield stuff when I had to stream at 2 a.m. I tried to sleep at 6, 7 and wake up at 10 or 11. It was brutal. And I couldn't imagine having to fight someone like that.
No. And even if you can get away with it one day, like trying to do that 2 weeks leading up, just try to... It was tricky. It was tough. It was... Yeah. It's weird. So
that is so weird.
I don't even know if I answered the question. It's hard.
I think you did.
You try and schedule it as best you can, but it's hard.
For sure. Next question we have JR-LO2XY. Very confusing username, but asked a question for both. Do you prefer voiced or silent protagonists in games? It's a good question. You reckon? Silence? As a general rule.
I like silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that way it can be anything, and I like having the freedom of customization for my characters.
Nice. For me, it depends on the game. And it's a bit of a cop-out answer, but in a game like Fallout or Elder Scrolls or those kinds of open world games where you want to be the character or role play in a certain way, don't have any voice protagonist. Makes complete sense. But then in a game like Final Fantasy, where you're actually following a named, known protagonist, I want to hear that person talk. And Zelda, is a bit of an exception to that, because it's Link. But I feel like with other games, I would like to hear a voice protagonist if I'm trying to form a connection with that character and get to know them. You know what I mean? So if it's a known character, voiced. If it's not voiced. That's my answer.
Yeah, and I like voiced if they give me the option of voices.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But obviously that's a bunch more work for the developing team to do. But I think a couple of games have done that, and I've enjoyed it. I do enjoy... one thing I hate, though, and I think Fallout 4 may have done it a couple of times, I don't even know, but where you press the answer you want, and they don't say word for word
Fallout 4
what you respond, and it pisses me off so much.
There's a mod that fixes that. If you play Fallout 4 again, there's a mod that fixes that. It's like the top downloaded one on Nexus.
For everything. Mod for everything.
Yeah, because it's like it had the 4 options. They're all very brief, and one's always a sarcastic one, and you'll press it, and then he says something completely different. You're like, that's not what I wanted to say. Yeah,
that's not the kind of vibe or edge I wanted to put on this, man.
I agree. Next question we have is from Preston Winters 9656. You guys ever play the Pillars of Eternity series?
Mate, have I ever?
So you know what's funny, Rob? when we were talking about Avowed the other week, Avowed is taking place in the Pillars of Eternity universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where it's set. That's why everyone's so excited about it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got really into Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire.
Yeah.
It's mainly because of the character building. They kind of did like a D&D Pathfinder sort of character building system, but with their own stuff. So their own races, their own classes, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And I really got into that, really liked certain classes they came up with, certain abilities, the way they interacted with others. It's a really cool game. Really liked some of the classes, like Cypher, which is like having psychic sort of characters. Really good game. Really enjoyed it. So,
hell yeah.
Yes, Preston. Yes, I have.
Next question, we've got AEST93. Any gaming moment that made you guys super emotional or even tear up? Have you ever cried at a video game, Rob?
I want to say maybe. Like I think I mentioned it before, Final Fantasy X ending before school.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Dude, Tidus, Yuna, where she runs to hug him, goes through him because he's fading away.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude, that's, if I was going to cry, that's where it would have
been. For me, it would be the ending of Titanfall 2. If anyone's played Titanfall 2, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It legit almost made me tear up. I've never full balled on a game. Like I don't know. I just can't do that. But sometimes I'll tear up a little bit at a very sad or emotional moment. So Titanfall 2 ending, yeah. And then the final question we have is William Blair 5024. Question for both.
I just realised that AEST is like Australian Eastern Standard Time. I only just got it. That's cool. That's cool. So he's obviously a bloke born in 93 from Western Australia.
No.
From what, here, this side of the earth?
Yeah, Sydney or Melbourne, anywhere out east. Next question is from William Blair 5024. Question for both. Hoping we get a Fallout 5. They've talked about it. We are getting Fallout 5. Where do you both want to see it be set? I, even as an American, think it's time we leave the US.
How dare you, William Blair 5024? How dare you just spit on everything Fallout means? Shame, William. Shame, William.
That's funny.
For shame.
So not outside of the US.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it.
All right. Well, if it was in the US, then where would you like to see it set? Do you have a city in mind?
New York City.
Yeah, good shout. That was my answer too.
I reckon that would be mad. I reckon if they made like really double down into like all the interiors of every building. So like the game is a small map, but it's dense because of how many levels and Z levels there are in subways and tunnels and high rises, penthouses. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. That would be so cool.
So I'll tell you something interesting. And this isn't a scoop. This was talked about in I don't know if you ever watched No Clip the podcast, but they did this one at Bethesda Game Studios. Apparently, they were going to set Fallout 4 in New York initially. That's what they said on the making of. And then they ended up going with the Boston, Massachusetts area. But that would have been cool. Fallout 4 in New York, man.
I do understand, though, the limitations of doing that, though, just because of how much it clutters. Like without load screens, there's so much to render into the game at one time. And I know that was one of the problems Cyberpunk had when it launched, was just because there was too much going on all at once. And that's why there was so many loading screens and flying cars and flying people.
It was the same in Fallout 4. Downtown Boston still crashes to this day because there was a lot going on. So could you actually have a New York Fallout? Maybe they were waiting for there to be better hardware so they can do what they're doing now with Starfield, right? Because like you look at some of the cities in that game, biggest cities that they've ever made, that's what you need. You need that kind of hardware to do New York in Fallout justice, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's it. That's all the questions. Everything we had to discuss in episode 15.
Episode 15. Look at us go.
Killing it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching or listening until this point. Maybe you're reading the transcript of our podcast. Yeah. I don't know what you're doing. But thank you so much. We're going to see you. Well, we should mention, Rob, that we're trying to figure out stuff for the next 2 weeks, right? For the podcast.
Yeah.
Just to give people
I leave next week.
Yeah. To go Vegas. Fight. It's going to be exciting for you, man. So we're trying to see if we can either record the next podcast in advance, but we're definitely not going to be able to do it for the podcast after that, because I think that's actually fight week for you, right?
It is fight week.
Yeah.
Bit too close.
So hopefully we can arrange something for next week where we can record in advance. It might mean we can't talk about like the most up-to-date games news and stuff like that. And then for the week after that, that might be the first one that we need to skip out of necessity. We'll see.
We may have to.
Yeah.
Or we just do a bunch of shorts. Spam you guys with those.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if we can record the next one, we'll talk about UFC 290 and do our prediction for that then.
Definitely. And if you have enjoyed the podcast and what you're listening to, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, thumbs up, and tell all your mates about it. Send letters. Send them texts saying, hey, bro, have you heard of this? Have you listened to this?
Yeah.
Go to their house, ring their doorbell, knock on their doors.
Hashtag MMArcade.
Spread
everywhere.
the news. MMArcade going everywhere.
And we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks.